Previously on Matt EV.
This is a G6. It's a decisive car for the future of the company. Almost identical in size to the Model Y, does have the power to crush the mighty Tesla in a jiffy. We have not been able to drive it yet, maybe later this month. Finally, I'm allowed to drive this car, and it's very generous of Xpeng because they directly put a test drive on the racetrack. In my previous video, I already did a walk around and share some of my thoughts with you on this G6. Check it out if you haven't already. Since Xpeng markets it totally against Tesla Model Y, so today in this video, I'll be answering some questions between them. I'm Harris, you're watching Matt EV. Apart from G6, Xpeng also put a Model Y performance on the track for comparison. After driving them both, I have to say that Xpeng is a bit overconfident, thinking it can really outperform the Tesla on the racetrack. Whether it's the response of the throttle, the lateral support of the suspension, the stability of the brakes, the sensitivity of the steering, or even the babysitting of the electronic system, the Model Y performance was much better on the track. Of course, the G6 has its own advantages. Compared to the Model Y performance somewhat understeering tendency, it's prone to oversteer, which is very rare for an SUV of this size. Unfortunately, the thrill of oversteer will hit a sudden stop due to the overprotective ESP. But let's not forget, there are indeed a few SUVs in the whole world who run faster than Tesla Model Y performance, and it sacrifices a lot its comfort for this kind of speed. So this G6 is a much more balanced family SUV. Apart from the Model Y performance, Xpeng also set the Macan's dynamics as target, but it's a pity that there was no Porsche that day for some unknown reasons. It's quite interesting that they chose Macan, because the engineer told me that the tuning and calibration of the steering system in the G6 was actually done by the engineer also responsible for Macan. So you can tell that they really want to make it more exquisite and more fun to drive. And that is not a good thing, because handling is probably the least important thing the Chinese customers can care about, and every single car bragging about its handling, especially on the track, never sell well in China ever since. Yes, we did understand this part less for not having driven many good cars with good handling, but in the electric world, the EIC system, the intelligent cockpit, the ADAS system are far more important than the handling itself. And I reckon that this trend could grow globally. In my last review, I said a lot of good things about the back seat, and when we went on the road, it was still very nice. The soundproof and shock absorption in the back are just splendid. In fact, there's probably no EV in the same price range could do a better job than the G6, let alone the widely complained Model Y. Although the Model Y have been fiddling with the suspension early this year for more comfort, but still there's no doubt that the back seat of the G6 is a much more comfy place to sit. ADAS-wise, Xpeng is also one of the best in China. Although the XNGP I tested in the P7i was not that impressive, but now, a few months later, it got a huge upgrade. First is the highway NGP. As a new owner, I have lots of complaints about the NOP Plus system. It brakes too hard, changes lanes too slowly, follow cars too far behind, slows down for God knows what, overtakes too hesitate, chooses lane illogically, etc, etc. On the contrary, this G6 never has such issues. It can accelerate smoothly, steer stably, and change lanes quickly. What's more, it can speed up when there's a car behind getting too close, avoid traffic cones near a construction section, and even slow down before a speed camp. Honestly, it does feel like a veteran driver now. So the result was, during my 100km highway test drive, it only failed once when changing lane in a traffic jam. Other than that, I did not have to take over the wheel the entire time. Then there's the city NGP. Last time, it was not a pleasant journey. I was forced to slam the brake due to the car doing nothing, so hard that the ABS just kicked in. I was so embarrassed that I had to tap on the throttle just to make it go, and I was very annoyed by its strange left turn maneuver. But you know what? After just a few months, these issues are all gone. Apart from being too polite when being cut and being too hesitant when the route is being blocked by other cars, it has no other flaws I want to point out. Well, except for one small detail, the capacitive steering wheel. Just like the P7i, it still hasn't got one, so I had to constantly tug in the steering wheel throughout the entire journey. According to the engineer, it's because Xpeng supplier has not yet solved the problem of combining it with heating. Well, I suggest that they should turn to NIO or Li Auto for help. In conclusion, from my own point of view, the XNGP is far better than the FSD. But as always, here in China, we haven't been able to experience what Tesla can really do. So it's just unfair to compare the XNGP with the FSD we're familiar with, because the brand Tesla and the Chinese word for it, Tesla, are just totally different things. Many people think that the 800-volt architecture can only make charging speed faster and only on certain piles, but it's actually more than that. Firstly, a higher voltage can lower the energy loss. Consequently, the car will have less energy consumption. It's just simple physics. Secondly, it can squeeze out more voltage not only from piles built by its own brand, but also any other ones. Lastly, you may not be aware many public piles are charging two cars at the same time, so they are basically competing each other for more powers. Under this circumstance, 800 volt can certainly get more voltage than 400 volt. In the previous video, I said that Xpeng will charge you more for the super fast charging speed. Well, I was wrong, because unlike the G9, the G6 will not have the 4C pack as optional, but every single G6 will have the 3C pack as standard. Other than the sloppy brake pedal and the fact that the exterior does appear to me, the Xpeng G6 is arguably a product with no significant shortcomings. The space, comfort, intelligence, configuration, power, handling, materials, workmanship, etc. are all flawless. While it may not perform as well as the Model Y on the track, as I mentioned earlier, superior track performance is not what we desire in a family SUV. So in the end, let's address the significant question here. Can the G6 really outperform the Model Y? If we consider the product competitiveness alone, the G6 is clearly superior to the mighty Tesla. But the power of Tesla has never been just about the product itself. In Tesla's dictionary, the reliability and long-term durability that traditional car companies place so much emphasis on have long been replaced by rapid iterations of model and core technologies. Well, it doesn't sound good, and in fact, for owners who have experienced a brake failure, it really isn't. However, by sacrificing some workmanship and reliability for lower manufacturing and time costs, Tesla has gained core product advantages and also won a large number of consumer recognition. I do have to say, the first thinking principle promoted by Elon Musk is really something, because he can accurately understand what customers really want. And if Xpeng wanna adopt his approach, well, only targeting the specs of his rivals' cars is simply not enough. Considering the Model Y has become the sales champion in both Chinese and European market, what's your thought on this car? And do you want there to be a car that could sort of humble the mighty Tesla? Well, let me know in the comment. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share with your friends. After all, your support is what drives us to keep on. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.